بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم لا حول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم الحمد لله رب العالمين صلى الله على سيدنا ونبينا بالقاسم المصطفى محمد وآله الطيبين الطاهرين لا سيما بقية الله في الأراضين. Alhamdulillah, we have tawfiq to continue our study of Mafatihul Hayat by Ayatollah Jawadi Amuli, Hafadahullah. And as you remember, we were talking about chapter 2 of first section. And we were talking about manners of learning and teaching. The last point that we were discussing was about the fact that an alim should not take his work, his task, his duty as a job like other jobs. Therefore, he should not be comparing what he does with the work which is paid. If an alim, as Amirul Mu'minin alayhi salam, is really an alim, then he would not take, which means would not expect anything from hutam dunya, from good of dunya, for what he's doing. An alim is continuing the job of the prophets, and they were all volunteers. As I always say, the prophets were volunteers, but volunteers who took their job seriously, not that just like someone who says, okay, I'm not paid, so I don't need to be regular, I don't need to keep hours, as other people do. I do what I like, I come when I like, I go when I like. No, you are volunteer, but you have to be more dedicated and committed than people who are working with a contract. So now let's look at this hadith from Imam Sadiq alayhi salam. This hadith is narrated by Sheikh Saduq rahmatullah alayh in Ma'an al-Akhbar. Man istakala bi'ilmihi iftaqara. Istakala, istikal is from akl. Akl means to eat. Istakala means he is trying to eat bi'ilmihi, with his knowledge. So Imam Sadiq alayhi salam says, whoever is trying to eat, means to make money with his knowledge, iftaqara, he becomes poor. He would be poor in his spirituality, but perhaps even in dunya this would not have barakah for him. Then he says, قُلْتُ لَهُ جُعِلْتُ فِدَاكَ, may I be your ransom. إِنَّ فِي شِيعَتِكَ وَمَوَالِيكَ قَوْمًا يَتَحَمَّلُونَ عُلُومَكُمْ وَيَبُثُّونَهَا فِي شِيعَتِكُمْ. Among your followers, your Shia, are some people who يَتَحَمَّلُونَ عُلُومَكُمْ, they carry your knowledge, your teachings, and they spread it among your Shia. So we have some ulama in the community that they have learned and they share. فَلَا يُعْدَمُونَ عَلَى ذَلِكَ مِنْهُمُ الْبِرَّ وَالصِّلَةَ وَالْإِكْرَامِ. Very beautiful way of saying. They have learned, they teach, and they are not denied some gifts, some kindness, some kind of honor. We say honorarium. So they are not denied the thing. Means people give them gifts, sometimes give them money, sometimes give them, good. But the way he says, it's not like they have a fixed salary and they make it the condition. Either you give me this or I don't teach you. فقال عليه السلام ليس أولئك بمستأكلين. Such people are not musta'akil. Those people that we said they do istikal, means they try to eat from their knowledge, means they try to use this as a source of income, does not include these people. إنما المستأكل بعلمه الذي يفتي بغير علم ولا هدى من الله عز وجل ليبطل به الحقوق طمعا في حطام الدنيا. Musta'akil is the one whose concern is money. Okay? Therefore, he gives fatwa بغير علم ولا هدى. No knowledge, no guidance. And in this way, he violates rights of people, rights of God. Why? So that he can get something from dunya. So you may think that then we are not talking about people who teach properly and they want money. Because this is for the people that they distort religion to please people. So for example, they say Islam says this so that a person who has power or a person who has money will be pleased. So they are distorting religion. Yes, this is the first category. The people who change religion and teachings of Islam in order to get money or position. But it also includes people that to begin with, they don't change religion. But if they are working for the sake of money, there is no guarantee. That first they keep silent. First they try to be compromising. But if they are going to lose a lot, and if they are going to gain a lot over years, they also would reach that position that they change religion to please people. Because if money is your motive, first might be equal to your commitment, or less, but little by little can grow. It is said that one of the caliphs, who was not very religious and pious, asked a person that you should be working for me. He refused. That alim said, I don't want to work for you. Then he said, so you have to teach my son. He said, I don't want to teach your son. He said, so then there is a third option, you have no choice. You have to eat once with me. Just have a meal with me. So he felt embarrassed to say, I don't work with you, I don't teach your son, I don't even accept one meal. So he said, okay. Then that caliph prepared a very luxurious meal. Everything that you could imagine was prepared. And he started eating and enjoying. Then it didn't take that long that he started teaching his son and also working for him. Because there is a taste for haram that if you try, it will be very difficult to remain as you used to be. So the best thing is to keep distance. So it's a slippery road. If I first start teaching properly, and I say, okay, I make money, this is my job. But then little by little, things may not go as you like. You have to compromise. You have to, please this person. You have to please that person. These people don't pay you a lot. You get angry at them. You want to say something against them. And then you become a machine of giving fatwa or expressing opinions in the way that suits your world, your dunya, better. So this is very worrying. So what should then ulama do? What should scholars do? What should preachers and muballighin do? First of all, they should know that the great task that they have, which is the task of the prophets, al-ulama'u umana'u rusul, al-ulama'u warathatul anbiya, they are trusted by the messengers. They are inheriting the prophets. So they should know greatness of this task. And they should know that nothing in dunya can be compared to one hadith or one ayah that you teach. And they should know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has guaranteed rizq for everyone who is working, who is trying, who is not lazy. Not that you close the door and say, Allah has to send the rizq, from the roof. No, you have to work. You have to leave chances for Allah's sustenance to come to you. You have to work. But if you work, don't worry about rizq. It would come. Especially for seekers of knowledge and for ulama, this is guaranteed. So we should put our trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and try to respect the knowledge that we have. Don't let this become a kind of business negotiation, and be patient. Maybe you face people who don't appreciate. Maybe you get invited once, twice, maybe even 10 times that people, don't pay, or don't pay enough. Maybe you hear other people get more. They don't have your knowledge, they don't have your experience. Don't worry. Just focus on your work, be patient. Don't sell the knowledge that you have cheap. And I mean by cheap, anything worldly. And inshallah, you will see that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala would open the hearts of people to you and they would support you. But you don't want this from them. You want it only from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is the way He does it. On the other hand, mu'mineen, the community, is also very responsible. Not only to show appreciation to people who give them service, but also to the students. If someone is going, for a few years, sometimes maybe 5 years, sometimes 10 years, sometimes 15 years, depending on their talents, depending on, their interests, their motives, their skills, their talents. There are many things. But anyway, it's a matter of few years up to maybe 15 years, 20 years of study. Sometimes they're married, but gradually they get, they are single, but they get married. Or they are married without children, then they get children. Community should feel responsible to support them. So not only we support the people that we invite to give us lecture or resident alim, we should also feel responsible to support people who want to go and study. Part of it is with giving our homes to Maraja, but we should do more. We should have grants, we should have a studentship, a scholarship to support people, members of the community who want to go and learn. So at the same time that they should not expect anyone other than Allah to look after them, every mu'min should feel responsible that I should be an instrument for Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Because how is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala looking after people? It's not always through miracles. Allah looks after people through mu'mineen, through other good people. Of course, His ways are unlimited. His treasures are unlimited. But a normal way is that through mu'mineen. Allah puts in the mind of this mu'min or that person that he should support. So, isn't this great and beautiful that you become part of Allah's channel of sending sustenance to people? So we have to work on two things at the same time. Ulama, speakers, students should put only their trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and should not look at this as a job, but the community should feel greatly responsible to support them and don't think this is a loss. Don't think this money that you are giving for people who have dedicated their life to a study is a loss. Or for example, even sometimes people are more happy to pay for niyaz or for other things, but they think, no, this is something that we have to negotiate and we give as little as possible. So, if we are a proper community of Ahlul Bayt, community would be willing to support generously people that they see they have piety and dedication to learning. On the other hand, those people who have dedicated their life, they have maximum dignity and honor and appreciation of their work. So this is the way that we should be. Another manner for teaching is that we have to avoid discrimination. We cannot discriminate against some people because, for example, they don't relate to us or they don't speak our language or for some reason. Imam Sadiq alayhi salam said to someone called Hassan who asked him about ta'aleem that لا تأخذ على التعليم أجرا. Again, don't take anything as payment for teaching. And then he reached this point. This is beautiful hadith in Al-Kafi. بعد أن يكون الصبيان عندك سواء في التعليم لا تفضل بعضهم على بعض. Children should be equal for you when you teach them. Don't prefer anyone over another one. So there is no chance for racism or gender or age or belonging to rich family or poor family to get into our education. Every human being should have chance of proper education. Another thing is that a teacher should be as much as possible accessible and make teaching easy process. Don't make it too difficult to accept or to meet, or don't make your teaching very difficult in the sense that you put lots of conditions or you make it a miserable experience for them or very difficult experience with them. There must be discipline, there must be, of course, examination, evaluation, but not make it very difficult. There is a hadith that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam is quoted as saying, Allah has appointed me and raised me, and Allah Ta'ala, then he says, Ba'athani mu'alliman muyassiran. Allah has sent me as a teacher who makes things easy, muyassir. Islamic Sharia is easy, and Islamic akhlaq is easy, but at the same time very accurate, very careful. It's not something miserable, but also it's not something that you can do it without care. It's not like an art, like driving. Can you drive carelessly? No. But driving is a joy. You can enjoy your driving. I can teach you driving and you suffer. I can teach you driving and you enjoy. So, this was another manner. Then the last two manners, and I left them for the end because these are more about studies, manners and skills. One is that we should take note. Our memory, even if you have very good memory, is not first of all going to remain always the same. Plus, memory has a limit. And sometimes even maybe something in your memory, but it's difficult to recall it when you need it. So it's good to have notes and organize your notes so that it can be available for you and also for other people. So we have lots of hadiths about necessity of registering and taking note. قَيِّدُ الْعِلْمَ بِالْكِتَابَةِ. Chain knowledge with writing. There is a hadith that Imam Hassan alayhi salam دعا بنيه وبني أخيه. He called his own sons and also nephews, children, sons of his brother. فقال إنكم صغار قوم وَيُوشِكُ أَن تَكُونُوا كِبَارَ قَوْمٍ آخَرِينَ. Right now, you are children of this generation. And soon you will be adult of another people, means another generation. فَتَعَلَّمُوا الْعِلْمِ. So you must now, in this young age, learn and seek knowledge. فَمَنْ لَمْ يَسْتَطِعْ مِنْكُمْ. Maybe you cannot learn. You cannot become a scholar. At least preserve, write down these hadiths that you hear, these beautiful sayings, wise sayings. Register them, because maybe you don't understand them well, but you keep them for someone else. You know, we have this in hadith that Rasulullah said that رُبَّ حَامِلِ فِقْهٍ غَيْرَ فَقِيهٍ or لَيْسَ بِفَقِيهٍ رُبَّ حَامِلِ فِقْهٍ إِلَى مَنْ هُوَ أَفْقَهُ مِنْهُ. There are many people who carry knowledge, they may not understand, but they pass it on. Sometimes narrators of hadith, maybe they didn't understand as well as scholars who came later. Or they understand, but they pass on to someone who understands better. So Imam Hassan alayhi salam said, تعلموا العلم فمن لم يستطع منكم أن يحفظه فليكتبه وليضعه في بيته. The one who cannot preserve it, memorize it and preserve it, should write it down and leave it in his home. Inshallah, his children, his grandchildren, and other people are going to benefit. And finally, the last thing for today, asking questions. In Islam, not only asking question is not a bad thing, it's necessary. Quran says, فَاسْأَلُوا أَهْلَ الذِّكْرِ. You must ask. And as we said before, you should not feel embarrassed or shy if you don't know something to ask. But of course, asking people who know, asking when you don't know. Not that you know something and you want to trouble people. Or asking in the right time. Not, for example, asking someone when he's in the middle of a speech or when he's on member, for example. Let him come down from member, let his talk finishes, ask him question. Or sometimes you have questions that might not be good for the public. It should be between you and the teacher, between you and the scholar. So there are lots of manners, but in general, asking questions from those who know, it's necessity of our life and an obligation. So there is hadith here, this is my last hadith for today, from Imam Baqir alayhi salam. And in this way we finish this chapter. Imam Baqir alayhi salam said, Al-ilmu khaza'inun. Knowledge is treasures. As we said yesterday also. Knowledge is not something on the surface. Knowledge is a treasure. You have to open this treasure. وَالْمَفَاتِيحُ السُّؤَالِ. Keys for these treasures are questions. By asking questions, you can open these treasures. فَاسْأَلُوا يَرْحَمْكُمُ اللَّهِ. Do ask questions. May Allah's mercy be upon you. فَإِنَّهُ يُؤْجَرُ فِي الْعِلْمِ أَرْبَعَةٌ. 4 groups of people are rewarded because of knowledge. As-sa'il, the person who asks a question, a good question, is a credit. Even we say, husnu su'al, nisful ilm. If you ask good question, is half of the knowledge. Wal-mutakallim, then the one who is speaking and gives answer to the question, he also is rewarded. Wal-mustami', the one who is also sitting there and listening, he is also rewarded. Wal-muhibbu lahum, the one who loves them, maybe someone from distance, maybe someone from another part of the world, is aware that there is such a circle that they are learning, they are asking questions, he loves them, he will get also reward. So if you love seekers of knowledge, you get reward. So this is the beauty of teaching and learning with sincerity. We pray to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to include us among true and sincere seekers of knowledge and help us to share what we learn with people who need, but also to implement in our own life. We ask Allah for shifa for all people who are ill, and we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to send His rahmah and maghfirah to all mu'mineen and mu'minat, especially those who have rights upon us. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.